Is the Hindi film industry and the insider-outsider divide responsible for Sushant Singh Rajput's death? Let's look at the two sides. Well, on one side, yes, it is responsible. It seems to be responsible because this coterie that is being spoken about is very visible. This is a coterie of the sons and daughters of powerful people. We see them all the time. They're supposed to be the creme de la creme of Bollywood. So you have to be either part of this coterie or at least be supportive of it. If you are seen to be standing up against it, then you do so at your own peril, and that is what seems to have happened with Sushant Singh Rajput, that he did not first of all subscribe to this courtry culture, and not just that, he stood up against it, and therefore he became the persona non grata. We all know, and it's no secret that Karan Johar and Aditya Chopra are the inheritors of these two big empires built by their successful fathers, Yash Chopra and Yash Johar. So clearly these two individuals control a lot of things. They can pull a lot of strings around in the film industry, and therefore falling out of favor with them can actually come with a very heavy price. And that seems to have again happened with Sushant Singh Rajput, as it now appears that he stood up against the might of these giants. And therefore they made sure that, that he was sidelined, that he did not get enough opportunities. Because after all, then you're working against the tide, and it doesn't work like that. Thirdly, and this is again very important, because Sushant Singh Rajput did not have the kind of persona to suck up to someone, or perhaps to just be a yes man, or have that kind of sycophancy which is necessary. So therefore, in a way, he was seen as somebody who stood up against this culture, and he was made to pay a price for it, because here is a coterie that also gangs up with the film journalist and film critics. So they drive the public opinion as well. Therefore, all your channels and all your routes can be choked if you fall out of favor with this gang. That seems to have happened in this case, because there is a lot to suggest that even in his own posts, I mean, he has said, he has expressed the kind of helplessness he feels for his films to do well. And the more this coterie succeeded in sidelining and marginalizing him, the deeper he fell into that helplessness and depression, which perhaps pushed him to take the ultimate step. Therefore, is the film industry responsible? Yes, it does seem to be responsible. What's the other side? The other side, the argument is, well, professional rivalries exist everywhere. It's part of any profession today. So there are pressures everywhere. So there's so many outsiders who come in and work with the exact same pressures, and they're flourishing. So how can you blame the film industry? Also, this inside-outsider debate again is a little difficult to pin down, because let's say Shah Rukh Khan, he doesn't come from a film background, but he's seen to be an insider. So one side of the argument is that this is all a matter of interpretation. There is no such clearly earmarked territory of insider and outsider, and it's just a convenient debate that is being created. So even, for instance, the star kids can claim to be discriminated against, because they can never grow out of the sort of baggage that they carry because of successful parents. So unless they reach that benchmark, they are no good, which is why, say, Abhishek Bachchan could never become a so-called A-lister, and a Tiger Shroff, despite all the inside backing, has not really made a major breakthrough yet. So why did Sushant Singh Rajput look at these examples and look at instances like Amitabh Bachchan, for example, who came in like a rank outsider and he became a mega success? So it's the audiences that make you a success or a failure, not a coterie here and there. Didn't Sushant Singh Rajput have the maturity to understand that? And for anybody, let's say with a fragile mental health situation, it does get difficult. It is difficult to survive under these kind of pressures, and it seems that Sushant did have some kind of a mental ailment. He was seeking help for it. The documents recovered from his residence indicate that he was consulting doctors for depression, and he was under prescription drugs. So that goes to show that yes, he was susceptible to mental illness. and therefore it would be unfair to blame the industry if you are already, if you do not have that sort of a resilience and the tenacity to survive in this kind of a industry with stiff competition, then you cannot then conveniently blame the industry for all your troubles. Well, that's the story from my side, but feel free to write in if I've missed anything, and feel free to tell me which way you feel the narrative should be. Thanks for watching Two Sides with Afrida.